You can't go back. This isn't therapy. It's exposure. What you're about to
Listen up, guys.
This isn't therapy. It's exposure. What you're about to see was never meant for public eyes. Because once you understand this, you can't go back. The collapse file doesn't soothe you. It rips off your emotional mask and forces you to meet the real you, the version that doesn't beg, doesn't break, and doesn't belong in a padded room. The system labeled it dangerous, but danger is exactly what most people need. Because if this method works on you, you won't just heal, you'll become spiritually untouchable. There's a method almost no one talks about. Not because it didn't work, but because it worked too well. It was never part of standard therapy. You won't find it in psychology textbooks or clinical training. Why? Because it didn't just help people feel better. It shattered their mental framework. People who used it didn't just heal. They transformed. Fast, violently, permanently. And that's exactly why it was buried. They don't want you to know this, but there's a reason you're still stuck. You've tried therapy, read the books, done the breath work, but your patterns haven't changed. Because most healing methods aren't built to free you. They're built to stabilize you, to keep you functioning, just enough. But if you're tired of managing symptoms, if you're tired of being told healing takes time while your life quietly rots beneath the surface, then you need something deeper, something that doesn't hold your hand, something that rips off the mask. That's what this file was about. A psychological method created by a group of practitioners who saw through the noise. They weren't interested in helping you cope. They were interested in collapse. Collapse of the false self. Collapse of the roles you play. Collapse of the stories that hold your identity together. Because underneath it all, there's a part of you that isn't broken. It's just buried under everything you built to survive.
See, and this is exactly what I'm talking about right here. They understand how you work. You have buried yourself under a series of belief systems to make other people happy, and you haven't even realized that. You think you've been living from your own place of happiness. But let's just move on with this. Let's see how deep this rabbit hole goes. And remember, everybody get your notebooks out, get your pad and pen out, because I chose this video for a reason. He's going to give you some methods that, and then we're going to talk about them. There's some of these things I've done. I know how these things work. And then, because everything we're going to do is to be always improving and moving forward. You see what I'm saying? Or being open to the fact that maybe there's nothing to improve. See, if you believe you got to work on yourself, that you're not this perfect person already that already exists, you don't have the things that you want, and the things that you want are only going to bring you to the acceptance of being who you already are. See, that is the trick. Now, just check out the rest of this, guys. Let's get back into it.
Most therapy keeps the mask intact. This method tears it apart. They don't want you learning this because once you see the truth, you stop depending on them. You stop being manageable. You stop playing along. And that's when you become dangerous to the system, to the patterns, to the parts of yourself that want to stay numb. In this series, I'll walk you through the exact process they tried to hide. It's raw, it's intense, it's not safe, but it works. If you're done pretending, let's begin. Because once you collapse the lie, you don't rebuild the same.
With Lucid Spark, you can bring your team's best and brightest ideas to life. The virtual whiteboard is an infinite canvas.
This isn't therapy. This isn't breathwork. This isn't mindfulness. This is collapse. You're not here to regulate emotions or process childhood wounds slowly over time. You're here to rip the mask off and see what's underneath. The collapse method was created for people who were done surviving, people who knew the strategies weren't working, people who saw the pattern and wanted out. This is that method, and here's how it works. The collapse method operates in 5 structured stages. Each one is designed to strip away a layer of your false identity until all that remains is truth. Identity mapping and destruction, emotional flooding, the void experience, authentic reconstruction, ongoing integration. You can't skip a step. You can't half do it. This isn't an intellectual exercise. It's an emotional one. Let's begin. You've spent your life constructing a persona, piece by piece. You built it to survive, to get approval, to protect your core from pain. Now it's time to tear it down. Most people don't have a personality. They have a defense system. collapse file. Get a pen and paper, not a laptop, not your phone. You're going to write like your life depends on it, because your false identity does. Ask yourself, who would I be if I could never mention my achievements again? Strip away your accomplishments. Who's left? Which traits of mine are designed to make people like me? Kindness, humor, intelligence. How many of these are just tools for safety? What belief systems did I absorb just to belong? Religion, politics, morality? What did you inherit to avoid rejection? What parts of my personality feel controlled? What do you hold in place daily just to appear stable? If everyone I knew forgot I existed tomorrow, what would I finally allow myself to feel? Now take those answers and burn them mentally. None of it is real. It's a prison built from praise, pain, and survival instincts. The collapse begins the moment you stop.
Let's go back over that again. Let's get that in one more time, guys. Shall we get that in one more time? This is important information right here. This is vital. This is vital. Listen, if you got a pad and pen, write this down. If you don't, come back to this later. Come to this section. I'm going to take this area of the video and I'm going to turn it into its own video, guys. So don't worry. So you can come back to this and write these questions down and ask yourself these questions. Who are you really? Who are you? Are you what people have wanted you to be? Is that why you're unhappy? Because every move you made, you feel as if that's what you were supposed to do. That's who you were supposed to be. Is that not what you're feeling? Isn't that your truth? Isn't that your reality right now? That you feel that, oh, I've done everything that I was supposed to do. Why isn't things working? Everything you're supposed to do by whose account? Whose standard? Everything who told you to do. That's the key there. So I'm rewinding it. Let's go back and check that out again.
The collapse file. Get a pen and paper, not a laptop, not your phone. You're going to write like your life depends on it, because your false identity does. Ask yourself, who would I be if I could never mention my achievements again? Strip away your accomplishments. Who's left? Which traits of mine are designed to make people like me? Kindness, humor, intelligence. How many of these are just tools for safety? What belief systems did I absorb just to belong? Religion, politics, morality? What did you inherit to avoid rejection? What parts of my personality feel controlled? What do you hold in place daily just to appear stable? If everyone I knew forgot I existed tomorrow, what would I finally allow myself to feel? Now take those answers and burn them mentally. None of it is real. It's a prison built from praise, pain, and survival instincts. The collapse begins the moment you stop defending the lie.
When you stop defending the lie. Let this sink in. Who are you? Everything you think you are and who you think you are and what you tell people is only based on what you think they think of you. Even the stuff you stand on and say, well, that's not who I am and how dare they? They don't. That's all a part of the facade. It's just a part of the game. They know this. This is the weapon. It's not the guns. It's not the money. Right? It's not the laws. It's this. So I challenge you. I say to you, this costs you nothing. Just go and get you a pad and pen, write these things down and ask yourself these questions. And then let's have a discussion about this again, guys. Let's do this one again. Let's talk about that. Well, let's get back to the video though, because it's going to get even deeper.
This is where the walls fall. Most people have never felt raw emotion without numbing it, explaining it, or controlling it. Emotional flooding is a full-force method that short-circuits your coping mechanisms. You don't ease into it. You let it hit. Go somewhere private. No distractions. Set a timer. 20 minutes. Pick a memory that still haunts you. Close your eyes. Play it back in full detail. Don't analyze it. Don't journal it. Feel. Let the rage, grief, helplessness, and shame move in. Now the twist. Don't isolate the event. Pull the thread. Let it connect to every other time you felt that same pain. Your heartbreak becomes every abandonment. Your rejection becomes every time you were ignored. Your shame becomes every moment you felt worthless. Let the wave crush you. You're not breaking down. You're breaking through. Your body may shake. You might cry, scream, collapse. That's the point. Flooding is controlled emotional collapse. It ends decades of suppression in minutes. Most people never heal because they process slowly and protectively. This method overwhelms the system and forces a reset. It's not safe, it's not regulated, but it's real.
Now, what we look at what we got now. Now, see, this goes into what I like to use with the
You're not gonna
Sedona
believe
method.
what
This
Tell me
is
everything.
the
I'll show you.
powerful way to do these
Monday.com.
things.
So I started the
You see
biggest
what I'm saying?
initiative.
I don't. There we go. Excuse me, guys. That's how we do those things. Right? We're gonna talk about this next part in a moment. But let me just set this up for you guys. Here we go. Right. Here we go. Think about this. Right? All that emotional feelings of everything going wrong and all the stuff you look at every day that says it's not in service to you. Fight it. You push against it. You try to do something. You never listen. You never let it just in and take its place. So it can dissolve in the boundlessness of your awareness. You push it out because the character, the me, the self, creates the separation of the world. Once you have a me, then all of this is separate from the me, which means everything else is against me, and I must protect this, right? But when you can let that illusion go, then you're able to see, and things become more clear because you're only perceiving of the world that which you believe, that which the reticular activating system is attuned to. That's what you're focused on. And that's where it comes from. And it'll just push out these experiences and you go, wow, woe is me. But when you confront these things, allow these things, you dissolve them. So let's keep moving on, guys. This is powerful.
After the flood comes the silence. Not peace, not clarity, emptiness, no motivation, no identity, no purpose, good. This is the void. Most run from this stage. They panic, they rebuild, they pretend it's over. Don't. Sit in the silence. Sit in the stillness. Let the nothingness become familiar. This is the death of the identity that was never really you. Ask yourself, what if nothing I believe is true? What if I'm not important? What if life is meaningless and I've been distracting myself from that fact? What if the fear I avoid is the doorway to total freedom? Now breathe. Don't fix it. Let it expand. You're rewiring your nervous system to tolerate the unknown. When you stop needing the world to tell you who you are, you finally get to decide for yourself.
You see, this is everything. This is it right here. See, some of these, I'm sharing this with you because if you just start pondering this stuff, if you openly ask yourself these questions and confront these things, you're going to find phenomenal truths that are going to transform you almost instantaneously. Instantaneously. They don't want to show you this because this is what can transform your life overnight. And then they have no more hold over you. They can't convince you to be somebody you're not. You won't be misled and strung around through emotional states that are not just your own. This is powerful. Let's keep going.
This is where real power starts. Now that your false self has collapsed and your mask is gone, you choose what comes next, but not from habit, not from fear, not from imitation, from honesty. Most people rebuild the same self over and over because they never question its parts. This step is conscious identity construction, not positive thinking, not affirmations, sovereign self-design. Ask yourself, am I choosing this because it's safe or because it's mine? Would I still be this way if no one approved? Does this trait serve truth or image? Is this a mask or a mirror? Now build slowly. You don't need a perfect.
You see?
Yeah, that was deep right there.
This is what it's really about.
That was deep right there.
Right? You have to notice you have to ask yourself these questions. If you are going out here trying to prove the power of manifestation or life-changing stuff through telling other people and convincing them that what you know is right because they don't have enough information in it, then you don't believe it and it's not going to really work for you. This must be internalized. It is personal. It is within you. And whenever you take that and go without or go outside of yourself to express these things to others, to prove to yourself that it is true, you're only going to get the reinforcement of the illusion. Because that's what you're really calling on. Let's keep moving on. What you think? Before we move on, what you feel? How you feel about that? How you feel about this?
I mean, me, I definitely feel that. Definitely feel that. I've always been out the box. The reason why I say I'm out the box is because, you know, I do just have my outlook on everything. Hey, it may be different from yours, but hey, I'm comfortable with my outlook. You have your outlook, and you can be comfortable with it all you want to. I have no judgment on should it be the right way, or should it be the wrong way. That's your judgment on that. I'm only responsible for my judgment, so that's all I care about. You know what I'm saying? It's not oh, I just don't care about somebody's whatever. Really, at the end of the day, whatever that somebody else has to deal with, they have to deal with their own stuff the way that they gonna deal with it, how they gonna deal with it. With me, I have to deal with things that I have to deal with the way I know fit to deal with them. I'm open to suggestions, whatever, however, from close, whatever. But I'm only in control of that. I'm not in control of nothing that nobody else do.
Well, yeah, I appreciate that. What this thing specifically, though, is talking about is, are you doing things based off of the criteria of others, right? Be it your family or friends or your peer group, whatever.
Well,
right?
I feel it starts with that. I feel it starts with that because, you know, as children, we learn what we're taught,
Right,
and
and-
what we see. So, you know, I think it starts with that. And then I think as we get older, you know, that's where everything comes into play because we now consciously aware of
Well, as
being-
we get older, all we do is run the programs that if you never changed it, why would the program change?
well, that's how a program can continue going by being led around with misinformation. Some people may not be aware of the program fully and be aware of just their part of what they think about the program, and they
Well,
will pass that
They
down.
don't know what a program
But
is.
they will pass it
I
down.
would like to say
They will pass it down like they know. You know, it's not the kid's fault that the kid is listening and the kid looking idly
no,
of the
this is
parent or whatever.
But the
you know?
point is, like, when you get to an age where you are a sovereign human being, right? These are the type of questions you're going to have to address if you want to be a whole person outside of what you have been created by others to be. We don't realize that the things we want, like most men want a nice car, not because cars are nice, because there was a time in your life it was about a girl or some dude on the block and he had all the girls and the money, right? So is that really your desire? It may have not been. You might have liked climbing trees and doing other things prior to that.
You know,
But you saw this other thing. You see what I'm saying? And now you've assimilated this into your own personality so you can be accepted or to get those things. You see what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, just like you said, as
And
you
this is-
assimilated it into you, that means you had to make that choice, do that. You actually could have said, okay, that's what they want to do. I don't want to do that over there. You have that choice in you, no matter what that's going on over there. That's over there, that's cool. He got all the girls over there, that's cool. He got all of whatever he got over there. That's what he got
We're
over
not
there. That's
talking
cool.
about. We're talking about impressionable minds.
Yeah, I mean-
and how the psychological habit of a program is formed,
Okay. Well, when you know,
and
if-
how to get rid of it. And one of those ways is this. Why I'm showing this video, because these are questions people don't ask themselves.
yeah.
It's not about asking these questions to other people and getting them to answer you about it. You understand? These are questions to ask yourself, right? Because this is how you crack. This is a form of a therapy that was blacklisted because it had profound effects. right? If I don't need to see you for 20 years as a therapist, where does my money come from? If the therapy business is about getting people well over the course of time, then I would never present something to you that would heal you in one session. You know, true hypnotherapists that are really good at it don't have reoccurring customers. Because they solve the issue of the person. They don't put a bandage over it and say, come back 2 weeks later so I can rebandage your wound. Not telling you that, oh, well, if I keep a bandage over it all the time, it never will heal, will it? No, because it needs air. You see where I'm coming from? Let's get back into this. I like your opinion on that, though. That was good. You know, I have Shorty here because he has his own opinions. And when we conversate, we often are having various opinion opposed to being an echo chamber on one another. So yeah, let's move on and take this in, guys. This is powerful stuff. I'm gonna have to make a video out of this one, man. So later on, you could actually just go ahead and dive in even deeper. But if you got a pen and paper, please be writing this down. Please be taking notes. If you even want to try while it's going along, go ahead and give it a try.
Identity. You need a real one. The foundation of the new self. Truth over comfort. You say what you mean. Feel what you feel. No performance. Rejection is survival. If staying real costs people, it's worth it. No fixed identity. You evolve. You change. You hold nothing as sacred except your awareness. Peace in the unknown. You've already collapsed. You've already faced the void. Nothing can threaten you now. This is the person you were supposed to become, not the one you were trained to be. You did the collapse. Now comes the maintenance. The old self doesn't die quietly. It returns in stress, in routine, in safety. You'll want to rebuild the lie. You'll want to pretend again. Don't. Morning protocol. Ask yourself, what lie am I slipping back into today? What emotion am I avoiding? Am I choosing ease over truth? Where am I betraying myself just to keep the peace? If the answer feels uncomfortable, you're doing it right. Warning, collapse is not a one-time event. It's a lifestyle. Every time a new layer forms, every time you begin to play a role again, you collapse it again and again until truth is your only identity. Collapse isn't destruction. It's rebirth on your own terms. You now have the full method. It's raw. It's dangerous. It's not meant for everyone, but it's yours now. And what you do with it is your choice. You were never taught to think. You were conditioned to obey. But if you've started questioning the script, if you've felt that cold awareness rising inside you, you're not crazy. You're waking up. That's what Whispers Black Laws was built for. Not to inspire you, but to rewire you. 10 laws they'll never teach, because if they did, you'd become psychologically ungovernable. If you're ready, click the link in the pinned comment.
There you go, guys. Powerful, 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 powerful. There it is. This is my whole point. Psychological ramifications of our lives is the biggest aspect of our lives. And the fact that we live most of our life on autopilot and then wonder why half of the stuff that's going wrong is happening is there you go. You're going to have to get off of autopilot. Or if you're going to be on autopilot, you're going to have to reprogram that autopilot to be a better service to you because they don't care. They don't care. It doesn't. The infinite has no stake in the game. The infinite is the infinite. Life is contraction and expansion. Everything is already perfect the way it is. Whether you accept it or not, you're doing exactly what you was meant to do, and you can do nothing other than. So this whole illusion that you're just making it uncomfortable for yourself. It don't have to be. You could be living in the worst conditions on earth and still be happy. Happiness doesn't come from your conditions.
Been proven.
Right? You've been intellectualized. Intellectual people aren't. That's why the greatest number of depressed people are highly intelligent. You have to be thinking all the time. Stupid people. You ever notice stupid people? You ever see how you catch stupid people unhappy all the time? Very seldomly. Stupid people are usually very happy. They don't hold on or harbor the thing because they're not thinking about it.